Hi Bears, I hope everybody is doing well, and I'm sure that you miss us meeting in person, but sometimes we have to go and use technology to make things even better. So what we're going to be doing at our August 13th Den meeting is we're going to be working on the Bear Claws adventure, and part of that adventure is the Whittling chip, and I know that everybody has been looking forward to getting ready to use their pocket knives. So you're going to start working on the Whittling chip at home with your parent or your guardian, and I do ask that you only use your knife when mom or dad are around, okay? You have to have them around when you're working on this, all right? Now, you've got a bag of goodies that I dropped off at your house, and inside that were 2 bars of ivory soap, some of these little cuticle sticks, and I'll explain what these are for in a minute, a block of soft wood for a carving. You're going to use this last, and a plastic knife. Now that's the fun stuff that's in there. Then there's some paperwork in there. Paperwork's such a horrible word, isn't it? But we have something here for your whittling chip. Now, for your whittling chip, you have to do 5 things. You have to know the safety rules for handling a knife, and you've got some of those right here. Now, I'm going to want you to read through the safety rules with mom and dad before you pick up a knife, because you need to understand some do's and don'ts. Now, there's more than what's just on this sheet of paper, and we'll talk about those when we have our meeting on the 13th, so don't worry about that. This is just to get you familiar with it, okay? Number 2 is that you have to show how to take care and use a pocket knife, and we'll talk a little bit about that so that you can do your carvings, and then we'll answer any questions that you have when we meet up in our virtual meeting. You're going to make a carving with a pocket knife, and you have to work with your adult when you're doing that. And your carving is going to be on your ivory soap, which is why you've got 2 pieces of ivory soap, because it says that you make the carving with your pocket knife. But your first one, and there is a sheet inside the bag that you got to go over with mom and dad, and it explains how to do your carving. For instance, ivory soap, it says ivory across it. You're going to want to take it out of the wrapper and take a washcloth and rub that ivory so that it goes away. Otherwise, you're going to have ivory written across whatever you carve, and you might like that, but most people are going to want to get it gone. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take the soap after you rub ivory off of it, and you're going to set it aside for 2 days. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it a little bit easier to carve. Okay, so all of that's in here. Don't worry about that. You can go over this with mom and dad. But for your first carving, you can take one of these little wooden sticks and you can draw on there what you think you want to carve, or you could just go to town. You don't have to use these. But I want you to use the plastic knife for your first carving to show that you know how to use a knife. For instance, you're not going to use your knife and cut towards you. We don't do that. You're always cutting away from you. If you need to turn what you're carving so that you can carve away, that's fine. But you don't want to carve towards you, because then your knife can slip and you can hurt yourself. So the first piece of soap, you're going to go and you're going to use the plastic knife. And then once you show mom and dad that you know how to use your pocket knife by practicing with that, then your second carving here, you're going to get your pocket knife out, and that's what you're going to use, okay? Now remember, both of these do with mom and dad, okay? And then if you want, because you only need to do 2 carvings for the Bear Claws adventure, requirement number 3 for this adventure says with a pocket knife, using a pocket knife, carve 2 items. So if you do both your soap carvings, you're done. But I know you want to get into carving with the wood. And this wood is really soft, so you can draw on it, and then you can use your knife, your pocket knife. The plastic knife won't work, but you can use your pocket knife on here and carve something out of this little piece of wood. Okay, now what do you carve? Well, you can go and do some searches on the internet with mom and dad, and you can find something that you might want to carve. I went online because I love owls, and I found an owl pattern. And this is my little soap owl that I carved. Now, it doesn't look exactly like the picture. I'm not that much of a great carver, but I'm kind of happy with how my little owl turned out. And then what I'm doing for wood is, and I haven't done it yet, see my wood is still intact, but you might be able to see that there are some marks on it because I took a pencil and I drew on there. Now, I used to live in Hawaii, and they have tikis and they're really, really cool. And I decided that what I wanted to do for my wood carving was going to be carving a tiki face. So I'm going to do that and we'll see how it turns out. But those are your carvings. You only have to do 2 for your Bear Claws adventure, but I gave you this piece of wood in case you would like to continue practicing. Okay, so for Bear Claws, we have 3 things to do. We learn about 3 common designs for pocket knives, and we're going to go over that at our meeting. You earn your whittling chip, which you're going to do part of that with mom and dad at home, then we're going to finish it up, and then you do your 2 carvings, and super easy. And then you can go and you can carry your pocket knife to scout activities, but only if it's authorized. Now, something to keep in mind, if you have a backpack that you bring with you to den meetings and to pack meetings, and that's your scout day pack, make sure that if you have your pocket knife in there, that you take it out if you use that same day pack for school. You don't want to accidentally take your pocket knife to school and end up getting in trouble. Okay, so what I would like you to do is the pocket knife pledge that's also on the sheet of paper, because part of the whittling chip, and I got distracted, but part of the whittling chip is to read and understand the part of this that says knives are not toys, as well as the pocket knife pledge. And what I want you to do is, with mom and dad, read this pocket knife pledge and have them take a video of you reading it and have them send me that video, because I'm going to do something special and I'm going to share it with you at our den meeting on the 13th. So make sure that you get that to me at least a week before our den meeting so that I can go and put it all together for you, and I hope that you really like it. Okay, the other thing that I am going to email to your parents is something called A Tree is a Good Scout. And that's going to be a closing ceremony that we're going to have. And I'll tell your parents what I want you to do for that. But again, that's going to be a nice surprise that we're going to have at the end. Okay? And you don't have to do this, but I thought that you would really like it. This is called the Knife Safety Word Search, and they give you a list of words here, and you can go and try to find them in here. This isn't a part of earning your Bear Claws adventure, but it is something fun. I really like doing word searches. So that's what we've got going on. Do your 2 carvings, and I'm going to send mom and dad some videos. Now, make sure before you start doing any of this that your pocket knife is sharp. If your pocket knife isn't sharp, you can have mom or dad sharpen it for you. We're going to go over how to do that during our August 13th meeting, and I'm going to talk to you about whetstones and other means of sharpening your knife. But have mom or dad sharpen your pocket knife if it is not sharp, because dull pocket knives are dangerous. Okay, and also remember that you need to have, and I've got my pocket knives over here, you need to have your safety circle. So a safety circle for this knife is going to be a bit different than a safety circle for this knife because it's bigger. And remember, for a safety circle, you're going to hold your knife out and you're going to move your knife around while it's closed to make sure that there's nobody in your circle. So if you spun all the way around with this in your hand, nobody should be within arm's reach with that knife there, because they can get hurt. So if you start carving and your brother or sister or mom and dad or anybody comes in that circle that you have, you need to stop what you're doing and ask them to leave your safety circle because you're working with a pocket knife. Now, also, so mom and dad don't get upset. When you're doing your soap carving, you might want to have a bucket or something to go and put your chips in and carve over so that you don't make a mess. Now, I have this little bucket that I got at the dollar store, but if you're carving at your table, one, make sure you don't carve your table, but you could lay some newspapers or some paper out and carve over it, and then you can collect that up and throw it out when you're done so that you don't make a mess. I'll send an email to mom and dad with some videos that they can look at if they're not sure how to help you with this. Reach out and ask me a question. I really hope that you guys have fun with this and know that Miss Sherry really misses you and can't wait to see you at our virtual meeting on the 13th of August at 7 p.m.